Good morning, this is Len Rubino, and I've been bringing you videos on YouTube now. I've got about 20 out there, but I want to make this one special. I want to kind of just relax, sit back, and talk about what I know from my 12 years of being in business, in the debt management business. And I have to give you some information that may be new to you, but it does explain why you're not getting anywhere, if you're not getting anywhere. Credit cards are now the biggest and most profitable commodity in America. It's more profitable than oil. It's more profitable than pharmaceuticals because there's no product involved. The bank lends you $5,000 in a credit card and they want back $30,000 to pay it back. Now I'm going to say that again. The bank will lend you $5,000 and they want $30,000 to pay it back. Now, if you thought about that, you would never use a credit card. Here's the way the bank charges you. Let's say you have a credit card of $5,000 and you max it out. And let's say the APR is 20%. That means that the bank will charge you 20% of $5,000 or $1,000 per year interest on that credit card. However, the bank doesn't charge you on a yearly basis, it charges you on a monthly basis. So if you divide 12 months into the $1,000, it comes to $83.33. Now here's the sleight of hand. The bank doesn't call that interest. The bank calls that finance charge. The reason it doesn't call that interest is because there's such a thing called the usury law. And the usury law says you can't charge more than 29.99% interest. I'm going to show you where they're charging you 85 to 90% interest, okay? So you look at this and say, okay, here's the deal. How do they get away with that? Well, they get away with that because it's revolving credit. It's not an installment loan like your car or something else you might buy. So revolving credit says the bank has the autonomy to decide what the minimum amount they will accept on that card each month. They put it at 2%. So 2% of $5,000 is $100. $100 is the minimum payment. The finance charge is $83.33. The amount applied to the loan or the principal is only $16.67. Now the way you determine what your monthly interest rate on any one of your credit cards is, take the minimum payment, divide it into the finance charge. In this case, the minimum payment is $100, finance charge is $83.33, 100 into 83.33, it comes to 83.3% interest. Now I want you to think about that for 1 minute. 83.3% interest. What in the heck did you buy with that credit card that was worth 83.3% interest? Okay? If you're only paying off $16.67 on the principal, if you divide the $16.67 into the $5,000, it will take you 299 months. That's 24.9 years. So here's what's happening. You got the card, you felt real good about it, you went out and spent it on who the heck knows what, stuff, we used to call it stuff, and you're going to pay back, of that $5,000, 299 months or payments of $100 or less, which comes to about $29,000. Okay? So you borrowed $5,000, but it's a sliding scale, so it goes down, so I average it out to about $20,000. So you're going to pay about $5,000 in principal and approximately $25,000 in interest, or approximately $30,000. Now, how do you feel about that? I'm going to tell you right now, Guido on the corner don't try to charge that kind of interest. You got to look at these credit cards as what they are. And what they really are, in effect, is the bank's way of charging you for the use of the card above and beyond what the country says they're allowed to charge you. Okay? So it's called the usury law, and the usury law says 29.9, but here you understand you're paying 83.3. So look at your credit cards, divide the minimum payment into the finance charge, and see what you're paying. Now, I'll give you a shortcut for those people that can't count. Okay? Take your calculator out. Whatever the total debt is, multiply it by 6. So if your total debt on that particular card is $4,000, multiply it by 6, you'll pay back $24,000. If your total debt on that card is $1,500, multiply that by 6, you're going to pay back $9,000. Your total debt is $20,000, multiply that by 6, you're going to pay back $120,000. Okay, this is where we are all trapped. The only way to circumvent this is to do one of two things. One, pay off your entire balance every month. Pretty impossible for most people. Number two, look to cut your debt. Now, one of the first steps of financial freedom is to reduce or eliminate the negative flow of money. The negative flow of money is interest that you pay, okay? So let's look at a system that will do that. First of all, bankruptcy will not do that. Bankruptcy for the average American is not a financial decision. It's an emotional decision. People just want this stuff off their back. They're all stressed out. So what we're going to do is say, no, you don't need to go into bankruptcy, because if you go into bankruptcy, the bankruptcy courts will start to pull every asset you have. For instance, if you have 2 cars, you must sell one. You can only have 1 car. If you have 2 houses, 2 homes, you have a vacation home, you must sell that and pay off your debt. If you have stocks and bonds, you must cash them in to pay off your debt. So forget about bankruptcy. Here's what you need to do. Debt settlement is called. Debt settlement is where we as a company will negotiate with the credit card company to lower your principal. Not your interest rate, your principal. So if you owe a total debt of between 4 or 5 cards of $20,000 and you go into a debt settlement program, the first thing we're going to do is cut the debt in half. Cut it down to $10,000. Then we're going to take the $10,000 and spread it out over 3 to 5 years, and you pay that back with 0% interest. There is no better program in America today to get back on your feet. You need to be smart. You need to be able to get out from under that debt, because the real problem with debt is the stress. Having to open up your mail every day and see more bills than you can pay. Stress is arguing with your spouse over who bought what. Stress is what you want to get rid of besides the debt itself. Now, I'm going to just relax and tell you this right now. We have a program that will put it in. Everybody qualifies for it, as long as you have at least $5,000 in debt on credit cards. Or you can have some debt in there as far as unsecured bills, such as hospital bills or doctor bills. We can take them too. I'm going to give you a link that you can go to. It's www.phoenix-marketing.com/debt, DEPT. Okay? Go there, take a look at it. There's a free, no obligation consultation. All you got to do is fill out the simple form that tells us how to get a hold of you, and we'll take care of that problem for you. Think about it. If you owe, let's say, $20,000 right now, we're going to take away $10,000. Why is the bank going to do this? Because they can afford to. Why do they want to do it with us? Because we've been doing it with them for 10 years. And the bank knows it's better for them to deal with one company or a few companies like ours who have thousands of clients than it is to deal with 1,000 different people with 1,000 different lawyers. Okay, and that's as simple as it make it. Matter of fact, the credit card companies love us because we probably get more money for them than collection agencies or any other form of chasing down the money. If you have problems sleeping, worrying about the bills, if you've got more bills than you can handle, if you just want to climb out from underneath credit card debt, go to www.phoenix-marketing.com/debt, and we'll take care of you. Thank you.